Mark.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 2016 Major League Baseball Postseason Predictions video. And this is going to be a long time coming. We've been waiting to do a baseball video. I just have not had time yet because I've been trying to get ready for my new job. Everybody's been busy. So that being said, I'm going to introduce you guys, introduce yourselves, then we'll get into our postseason predictions.
All right. I guess I'm going to start.
Yeah, we're going to start with Kyle first.
That's right.
First time you're on my channel. First time.
Yeah, this is a first. My name is Kyle Hirschon. I'm a prospective play-by-play analyst for baseball. I'm actually going to be calling a baseball game for my college in the spring. Big baseball fan, and it's one of my biggest passions. I love the game so much that I'd rather go to any Major League stadium and root for any other team besides the Mets, except for the Yankees and the Dodgers.
I agree with that.
I guess I'll go next.
Yep. Mr. James.
Okay, hold on. Good evening, gentlemen. I was trying to sound like Jerome Shadowmer.
Jerome. No, his name is Jerome Tubbs Pingus.
Yes.
Tubbs.
Well, I'm James the Emperor. That's all you need to know. Next.
Tubbs.
Christy Charisma.
That was quick.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah. We're going to play Steve. No, we're not. Hi. You know who I am. You know me on the Painting Game Pick'em show with the rest of those clowns. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. Yeah.
Oh.
Where you guys pick your noses.
Yeah.
Wish.
Hold on, son. Let me get down on my knee. No. So stand up and do what you have to do. So, yeah, I'm Steve. I'm an Orioles fan. I like a lot of teams except Yankees, Red Sox, and Blue Jays. There you go. And thank you for having me a part of this show, along with Kyle Hirschon and Mr. James the Emperor and Lucas Gluten-Free Enchiladas, whatever the hell you want to say. We're here to do our MLB playoff predictions. So let's get right into this.
Oh wait, hold on. I forgot to say I'm an Orioles fan too. I forgot to say that.
Oh, you are.
So every one of you guys have a team in the playoffs, and mine just missed because of one freaking game.
It's all Ben Roethlisberger's fault.
It's the Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals. They got missed by one game. One game! We missed out by one game!
Just one.
Yeah, because fucking Joey Votto kicked your ass.
That game I do not remember. That happened on my birthday too, so that was great.
That's worse.
I know. But anyway, let's get things started off. We're going to start off with the American League. Going to predict the first wildcard game, which is the Toronto Blue Jays hosting the Baltimore Orioles. Who you guys got?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's start with the O's fan. Let's start off with Steve.
Well, we got two Oriole fans on here. I mean, who should really go first? So
I'll flip a coin, heads or tails.
Heads.
I'm gonna go tails.
James wins.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, James.
Give it to him, of course.
That's the troll's luck. Okay, so
Troll Day.
yes.
Happy troll there. That's right.
But anyway, this is going to be a real shocker to you guys, but as an Orioles fan, I'm going to pick the Orioles to beat the Blue Jays today.
What? Shocker!
That's as shocking as Lucas picking the Steelers to win the Super Bowl every year.
Yeah.
They have a good chance.
56-10.
Yes.
No, I don't think.
6-10.
That we'll get into that for the prediction, but it's not going to be that score. But anyway, let's talk about Steve. What do you got to say for this game?
Okay, so we managed to get the wild card thanks to winning over the Blankies.
Yes, the Blankies.
Yes, but look how the season went for the Orioles. I mean, it went off to a pretty good start. They started 7-0. Then they wound up going a little bit downhill. Then some injuries came up. One to J.J. Hardy, I believe. He was out with a little bit of a fractured foot. He wound up coming back. Manny Machado was moved to shortstop, which kind of, was fine as well. Then they signed Chris Davis in the offseason to like a huge contract worth like $1 billion, loads of money. And yeah, he wound up doing okay for the season, but his batting average was very, very low. And I mean low. And then new acquisition Mark Trumbo comes along, thanks to the trade for Steve Clevenger.
Which you hated.
Yes, I will admit I did hate it, but yeah, but I'm not going to get into detail. It's going to go on forever. So, so they wound up finishing pretty good, and they still get the wild card. And the Blue Jays, however, needed to lose to the Red Sox, and we would have gotten the first wild card. But still, we still managed to get it. And this is always a big series. I hate playing in Toronto. I hate it. I'm going to admit it because the fans are really, they get into it a lot. I remember going back with the Blue Jays and Rangers in the game from last year with the bat flip and all that crap. I mean, yeah. So this should be a pretty good game, though. But, however, even though I'm a guy who picks the Orioles a lot of times, so I'm just going to have to be honest with this one. I'm going to go with the Orioles.
Very nice.
It should be a really good game, and they got like Tillman, who's going to be on the mound, and it was either going to be him or Ubaldo, because Ubaldo had a pretty good start against the Blue Jays before. But here's a guy that wasn't doing so well with an ERA over 7, and now all of a sudden he's doing good. The mound. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
So, Kyle, who you got?
Well, if you saw my Facebook, I posted a huge thing about predictions the other day. There are going to be 3 key factors when it comes to tonight's game. It's going to be the starters, the offense, and the bullpen. Those 3 factors are going to determine how this game is going to go. Of course, you mentioned Chris Tillman, who's 16-6 with a 3.77 ERA, and then you got Marcus Stroman, who is a losing record pitcher with 9-10 with a 4.37 ERA. I mean, however, both teams don't do well against lefties. I mean, it's safe to say that when you're facing a guy like Marcus Stroman, the Orioles are just hitting 234 and 301, 392 against lefties. It's a thing you gotta realize that these pitchers will strike you out. There will be a ton of strikeouts, but in the very end, there's going to be some scoring games. There's going to be some issues, and then we go to the offense. Of course, you've got Mark Trumbo, who's had an almost 50-homer season. Then you've had Chris Davis, Manny Machado. Adam Jones. These people are sluggers. These people are pure sluggers. You got to realize that these guys can hit the ball hard, and sometimes if it's in the right spot, it'll go out of the park. Now, on the Blue Jays side, you got Donaldson, Encarnacion, and Bautista, the 3 amigos I like to call them, because they have tremendous power. They have tremendous power, and they will hit it out of the ballpark. They are Chris Tillman is still working off from injury. He's had a few shaky starts ever since coming back from injury. So this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say the Jays are going to take this one 5-3. Davis will hit a solo shot. Then Trumbo will hit a 2-run shot. Then Encarnacion will tie it with a 3-run homer, and then a 2-run single by Donaldson would give the Jays the lead for good.
I'm going to be honest with this one. This is going to be a tough game. I think this is going to come down to the very last inning, but I got the Baltimore Orioles. I got to go with the Orioles. I think that the Orioles will take down the Blue Jays on the road. I think the home run hitting power of the Baltimore Orioles is going to be the key factor in them winning this game. I got Baltimore over Toronto 3-1.
But one thing I'd like to add to that, because I didn't really give any analysis on that, but 2 things to take into consideration. The Orioles have struggled on the road this season. That's a thing to take into consideration. And also, I think it's going to come down to one player, Chris Tillman, because the Orioles' Achilles heel is their pitching, because they've been perfect with their offense. Their bullpen has been great, but their starting pitching has been pretty bad sometimes. So I think if Chris Tillman pitches well, the Orioles are going to win. If Chris Tillman doesn't pitch well, the Orioles are going to lose. I think it all falls on the shoulders of Chris Tillman.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's get
Zach
to the
Britton.
next game. Sorry.
Yes, I don't. If it gets out of hand, I'd say, even though people are going to go against it, I would say bring Zach Britton in early.
Yeah.
Make him a setup man and have him pitch the ninth as well. Because, if this game does go out of hand, he's probably the best closer in the majors, and I think he is a potential AL Cy Young candidate, even though he's a closer.
Yep, that'd be nice.
So let's get into the next series, which is the National League Wildcard Series. The New York Mets hosting the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you go first, Hal. I got rage to say about the Giants later, so.
Yeah. It's going to be a very tough game. I'm going to say this right now. It's going to be a very tough game to the very end. It's going to depend on the ninth inning where everything happens. All the action is going to happen in the last few innings. You've got Madison Bumgarner, who is pitching a sub-2 ERA, who is incredible against the Mets. He has won almost every single game starting against the Mets. And then you have Noah Syndergaard, who literally blanked them. If you ever watched the game on ESPN a few months ago where Cespedes hit that 2-run homer, which gave the Mets the lead for good. The only way that Madison Bumgarner will win is if the bats don't work. But with the new acquisitions, now I'm gonna be very, very honest here. Ever since maybe June or July, I stopped watching because I didn't think they were going to make it to the postseason. But ever since they started surging in August, and like one game back behind the Cardinals. Sorry, Lucas. One game back, against the Cardinals, and then they get the second wild card, and then they win more, so they get the first spot and knock the Giants down to the second spot. It was a very tight race to say. I'm going to say, if we had all the regular people from 2015, we would have been over 100 wins. We would have been like the Chicago Cubs. But with all the injuries, I'll still take it. We did 3 games worse than last year, which is, it's still great. We're still in the postseason. I'm going to say Denard Span will – was it Denard Span or Hunter Pence? I think I said Hunter Pence. Hunter Pence will give the Giants the lead with an RBI single with Denard Span running at second. Now, I do warn you, Denard Span's a little iffy on the bases, but he'll have enough room to score. And Cespedes, I'm going to count on Cespedes to walk it off in the ninth. I think Syndergaard and Madison Bumgarner will go deep. I'm going to guess around 7 or 8 innings, if that's the case. And the Mets will win it in a walk-off 2-1.
I agree with you 100% on this one. I'm giving this one to the Mets. Why? I cannot stand the freaking Giants. They've always been a thorn to the St. Louis Cardinals side. Since 2010, they knocked them out of 2 championship series. It's unbelievable. I just cannot stand the freaking Giants. I cannot stand them. I want Bumgarner to get completely destroyed because he did not have that great of a year compared to a couple of years past. Like, since 2014, he has not done as well. I think Bumgarner's not going to have a great game in New York, and I think the Giants will fall to the New York Mets. Final score, I'm going to say 6-3.
That's pretty good, but I think that the running game, the bats are going to be quiet on this one because both of them are strikeout kings.
They are really good pitchers. I will agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you got, Steve?
Well, I'm going to be honest about this thing. I'm a fan of both of these teams. I do like the Mets and the Giants as well. Now, the Giants have been doing pretty well for the last, 3 or 5 years or something. They've been, making the postseason. So, yeah. And how many times they won the World Series out of them years?
3 times.
So, yes. And they've been doing pretty outstanding. I mean, with all their pitchers. Now, when they won it before, when they had Matt Cain on there, and they also had Tim Lincecum, who's no longer with them, and they also had a few others too, I don't know exactly. But the Mets, Kyle did pretty much say it right there, the way they've been. And they got Cespedes, and they got
Jose Reyes, Cabrera.
Yes, Reyes come back and Cabrera, yeah. And I mean, this definitely is going to be a close game in my opinion, because it's a battle of two good starting pitchers. But for my pick for this one, my pick is actually the Giants. Final score 4-3. It's all going to come down to like the 8th inning. That's my opinion.
James, who you got?
Well, see, I'm kind of torn on this one. Now, on the one hand, I want to represent East Coast, New York. I mean, even though I don't like the Yankees, I don't have any problem with the Mets. I'm an East Coast guy. But on the other hand, looking at the map, San Francisco is closer to Green Bay, Wisconsin than Queens, New York is. So you never know. It's possible that Brett Favre could take a bat in the game and
Put him on the 25-man roster.
Yeah, and he could win the game. So with that alone, I have to give this one to the Giants because Brett Favre. I think John Madden has the inside scoop on this one. I think this one's going to the Giants. Brett Favre is the wild card here. He's the wild card in the wild card. I'm going with the Giants.
All right, so let's get into the actual prediction. We're going to start this time in the National League with the National League Division Series. I'm going to start off with the first series, though. The Dodgers versus the Washington Nationals. And Dodgers will have home field advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Who you guys got?
Well, this one.
Oh, yeah, go.
This one. Yeah, okay. This one's a very tough one, I'm going to say. To me, it's going to be neck and neck. They're going to have to use all the games for this series that I've seen. You've got Max Scherzer, who's probably going to be the Cy Young winner for the National League. And you've got one of the best pitchers in the game, Clayton Kershaw. So if there's any indication, the first game is going to be Kershaw versus Scherzer. And there will be a lot of strikeouts, but Kershaw has been kind of iffy lately. I've noticed that, ever since coming back from the disabled list, he's been very iffy. But the Nationals are playing with a banged-up offense. You've got Daniel Murphy, who has, a strained ass. Something's up with his ass. And then you have Bryce Harper, who is dealing with some issues. Your two best hitters are, and with also the loss of Wilson Ramos, that's a huge loss.
That is huge.
That's a huge loss.
It's enormous.
Yeah, but you've got, with the Dodgers, you've got Chase Utley, you've got Josh Reddick. You got Josh Reddick in the mix with Yasiel Puig, who's starting to get a little hot now. And then, you have Rich Hill. I don't know if Brandon McCarthy is still in the rotation or if he's still injured.
I think he's hurt.
I think he's still hurt? Okay. There are a lot of key factors that involve injuries with some of the team's best. But in the very end, I'm going to say the Nationals are going to win it in 5.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I am actually going to say something interesting, though. I do not think it will take all 5 games for this series. I think this series will be close, and I did want to correct myself real quick, though. It is the Nationals have the home field advantage, not the Dodgers, so I just wanted to correct that.
Yeah, they have the better record.
They do have the better record. So this is going to be an interesting series, but the big thing is without Strasburg, without Wilson Ramos, this is going to be tough for the Nationals to come back and beat the Dodgers.
I forgot about Strasburg, yeah.
It's going to be tough for the Nationals to really take down a red-hot Dodgers team. Unfortunately, they did not do well against the Giants. They should have, but they will rebound. I think the Dodgers will win this series. I think that the hitting and I think the depth of the pitching that they have will be the key difference for the Dodgers. Give me the Dodgers in 4 games. I'm going to take them in 4 games.
All right, Steve.
Okay. Is this the best out of 5 or something, or what is
Yes,
this?
it is the best out of 5.
All right, just making sure. All All right. Is my mic still sound off? Because I'm
That
just
sounds good.
No,
No,
you're good.
you're good now. You're good now.
okay. I think it was a Vera, so that's probably the reason it's doing this again. Okay. So, Clayton Kershaw against Max Scherzer, right? So,
For game one.
game one. Now, this is a battle of two very good pitchers. Now, the Dodgers are a good team, and this is another one of these two teams that I like. I mean, Scherzer is like the no-hit kid almost. Kershaw, is coming off his injury as well, and I think pretty much my choice is actually the Dodgers in 5. Do it for Vin. That's what I say.
Very nice. How about you, James?
Well, the thing is, I don't find the Dodgers to be a very likable team. But I do like Vin Scully, and I like Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw could retire today, and he'd still probably make it to the Hall of Fame. That's how. Well, I think he played at least 10 years because that's the requirement. But
I think so.
yeah, so he could retire today, and he'd still make it to the Hall of Fame. That's how great of a pitcher he is. But I don't really like the Dodgers, but I do like the Washington Nationals because their logo looks like the Walgreens symbol. So I will say I give this one to the Washington Walgreens. I think they're just going to sweep the Dodgers. I'm going to be honest.
Really? I'm surprised.
Wow.
So let's get into the next series, which is the Chicago Cubs, the best team in baseball right now, versus the New York Mets.
All right.
I'll let you go first.
Now- Yeah. Okay. This one's going to be tough. I will say this. Most likely, if the Mets do advance to the NLDS,
Got to be objective here, man.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's going to start. I know Arrieta will start game one. I know that. I don't know how long it'll be until the NLDS, but if that's the case, start Syndergaard again.
Don't they have DeGrom? Or?
No, DeGrom's out with injury.
Okay.
Ooh.
There are a few factors that could kill the Mets. 2 of them are Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo. They are home run hitting machines. And I've seen that come from not just Noah Syndergaard, but I've seen it come from DeGrom, Matz, Harvey, before, last season and combining with this season. Arrieta is probably going to take game 1. The Cubs will take game 1. I know that for sure because Arrieta is a beast. Hendricks, who is surprisingly ERA-wise better than Jake Arrieta, might get rolled over a bit late in the game. Lester is an easy guy to pick through. We torched his ass after 1 2/3 of an inning back in June, where Flores went 6 for 6, tying a franchise record with Eduardo Alfonso. I'm gonna say if the offense for the Mets keeps up, I think they'll win it again. But they're not gonna sweep it like they did last year. I'm gonna say within 6, the Mets will take it.
Well, this is 5 still. The Cubs and Giants is 5. I mean,
5.
Cubs and
Excuse me.
Mets.
Mets in 5. Excuse me.
No, you're good. Don't worry. All right, so James, you want to go next on this one?
Yeah, so I said the Giants were going to beat the Mets, because they got the Brett Favre factor. But the Cubs, they have a player that I wish was still in the Orioles, and that's Jake Arrieta.
Who knew? He probably wouldn't have been doing the same what he's doing now for the Cubs.
I agree with you. No, I know that 100% fact, but I still wish he was on the team now.
Yeah.
But, obviously, he never would have done what he is doing now with the Orioles, yeah. But anyway, I'm going to be serious with this one for once because my other ones weren't serious except the Orioles. But I'm going to say the Cubs because, the Cubs, they're the most talented team in baseball as far as I'm concerned. And I think they're going to beat the number 5 seed Giants, and I don't think it's going to be close. I think they're going to sweep the Giants.
What do you got, Steve?
Well, I said Giants for the win over the Mets, so it'd be Giants and Cubs for me as well. I agree with what James said. I mean, if it'd be like Bumgarner against Arrieta, that'd be a good matchup. And I would actually say for this one, I would actually agree with James. I'm actually going to disagree with him. I would say the Cubs sweep the Giants, sweep. There you go. So I don't mess up.
Did you make it? So you say, what'd you say for your pick?
I said the Cubs sweep Giants.
I'm honestly gonna say this is gonna be a very close series, but I still think the Cubs are gonna win this one. I think the Giants will get one in New York, but I gotta give it to the Cubs. I feel like this is their year. I feel like this is gonna be one of the best series out of all of them. The Cubs are just too strong to handle with their offense. Give me the Chicago Cubs in 4 games. Now, let's move on to the American League Series. We got, starting out, the not the Toronto Blue Jays. The Texas Rangers hosting the Baltimore Orioles. Who you guys got?
Well, who went first last time?
You did.
That was me.
Well, Kyle went first, and it was James and me, I think. So
You can go, Steve.
all right, we'll switch it up then. All right. Let's go back to 2012 when the Orioles faced the Rangers for the wild card at that time. That was quite a good game, and there were quite some players on there that we had when we won that game. And the starting pitcher was Joe Saunders at that time, who I believe is now a free agent, or he could be somewhere where we don't know. And the players as well, who they had, Davis, who was starting out. They had the fragile Brian Roberts, who was not on the roster. He was still injured. And they had J.J. Hardy, Mark Reynolds, who is now a Cardinal, I believe, and Adam Jones still, and the future Hall of Famer, Jim Thome, believe it or not.
Yep.
So for this one, this would be pretty good. I mean, the game would be in Texas, I think, would it? Or
Yes.
for game one?
Game one's in Texas.
All right, and best out of 5, right? So
Yes.
Okay. So, for starting pitcher-wise, I mean, I would start Ubaldo, in my opinion, because he's been doing pretty well. For Texas, I don't know if I don't know if Yu Darvish is injured or if he is healthy.
He's healthy.
Okay. It would probably be him, or I could be wrong about that. I don't know another choice it could be. But this would be pretty good because I do like the Rangers, too, because they got some good players. But I have to give it to who I really want to win it, and that is the Orioles. But in a close series, I say it would come down to the last game. So Orioles, for the series 3-2, they would win it.
James, who you got?
Well, yes, as Steve said, this is another postseason rematch between the Orioles and the Rangers. And I'm going to make a bold prediction here. Okay?
All right.
I'm going to predict – now this is going a little bit ahead, but I'm going to predict that the Orioles are going to win it all, and I predict they're not going to lose a single playoff game. I predict that already.
Really?
I don't know if that's ever been done before, but I have a feeling I'm predicting that's going to happen. Straight to the World Series championship, and they are going to win every single game in the playoffs.
Really? Wow.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. Well, I picked the Blue Jays to beat the Orioles in the wild card. Now, if it were the Orioles and the Rangers, if it were the Jays and the Rangers, this is going to be one hell of a series. There's going to be so much tension regarding last year and with this year with the Bautista and Odor fight. I would honestly start Estrada and Cole Hamels for game one. And there's gonna be an offense matchup. Like I said, the three amigos, Donaldson, Encarnacion, and Bautista, those three are going to be their power for the Blue Jays. And with the Rangers, you've got Ian Desmond, who is a terrific outfielder, who I thought was better at shortstop last year with Washington. But now he's a better outfielder, and he still has power. He's still got pop. So it's going to be Ian Desmond, Rodman Odor, and, of course, Adrian Beltre. You've got two of the best pitchers in the American League. You've got Cole Hamels and Yu Darvish. So I would say that this series would belong to Texas in 4.
Who you guys got next? So I'm the last one, right? So
I was, yes.
You already make it. All right, sorry about that. So this is going to be one interesting series to say the least. Texas Rangers are the top team in the American League, playing the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles definitely do have the best hitting, one of the best hitting roster, like the best home run hitting rosters in the league. Texas Rangers definitely have improved since the beginning of the season. They have very much improved, especially getting Jonathan Lucroy from the Milwaukee Brewers. This is going to come down to who has the best pitchers overall. But for me, I think this is going to go 5 games. I'm going to go with the Texas Rangers, unfortunately, to win this series. I think the Texas Rangers will win. I think the Rangers are going to pull this one out at the very end. Give me the Rangers in 5 games. Let's drag into the next series as well. The Boston Red Sox versus the Cleveland Indians. And I would like to go first on this one real quick because this is going to be another interesting series. Both teams definitely have a lot going for them. The Red Sox have David Ortiz's final potential playoff series ever. You have the Indians, who are really hot since the Cavaliers won the NBA championship. Kind of similar in the Cleveland sports presence. Both teams are very strong. Both teams have improved since last year. It's going to come down to which team can get the most hits on the entire game and get the most runs. For me, I think Cleveland takes this very slight advantage. This is also going to be another 5-game series, but give me the Indians in 5 games. I think having it in Cleveland is the huge difference. If it wasn't Reds in Boston, I would have taken the Red Sox. But it's being in Cleveland, I think the Indians will win this series. What do you guys got?
All right. These two teams, I was very shocked that Cleveland actually won the division. I honestly thought the Tigers would take the Central, which, since they were knocked out, they've got great pitching, they've got great hitting. With Cleveland, you've got Carlos Santana. You now have Mike Napoli, who's done really well for the Indians. But pitching-wise, it's going to be tough with the loss of Corey Kluber, because of that strain in his groin. Without him, there will be some issues stopping the running game. But if he's up there and he's still hurt, there's a chance that he could give up some runs. But the first game, with Trevor Bauer and Rick Porcello has done really well for the Sox this year. He is, no doubt in my mind, the best choice for the first starter of this ALDS series. And with Xander Bogaerts, Mookie Betts, David Ortiz, like you said, and Dustin Pedroia, I think the Red Sox do have a slightly better advantage since they have some of the best hitters in the American League. And that's why I'm going to say the Red Sox will sweep it from Cleveland.
Wow, that's pretty big.
Oh, yeah, it is.
All right, so, James, who you got?
So Boston versus Cleveland.
Yes.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to have to maybe go with Cleveland here. Peter.
Peter.
But anyway, I'm going to go with Cleveland here. And, I'm just going to have to do it because for the simple fact of I don't like the Red Sox, and that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Because here's the thing. I don't want to make a prediction for a team I hate, and then I only want to be right about a team I like. When I don't like the Indians, but I hate the Red Sox. So I'm going to Cleveland. And I think that Cleveland, like Lucas, did you just say that you think they're going to sweep the Red Sox?
No, Kyle.
I said the Red Sox were going to sweep the Indians.
Oh, well, I say the reverse. I say the Indians are going to sweep the Red Sox. And I think David Ortiz is going to strike out almost every at-bat, and then he's going to get so mad that he's going to smash some more phones with his bat.
That's not going to happen. I mean, Ortiz has been very hot lately. He has been hitting the ball quite a bit. There's no chance that he's going to strike out at every at-bat. I will say that.
No, I didn't say every at-bat, almost every at-bat. And I just think it's going to be a bad series for him, and I think he's going to get so mad. I think he's going to start smashing phones again. That's what I think. We'll have to see who is right.
Mm-hmm. Steve Charisma.
The Red Sox have got a bunch of players on there that do pretty well. Like Andy Ramirez has done pretty well. And another guy by the name of Mookie Betts, who has done pretty well against the Orioles, who really killed them with all them home runs. And, of course, David Ortiz, his last season and his last postseason. And this would be a pretty close matchup. In my opinion, I'm going with the Indians in 5.
Very nice.
That's all I got to say about that.
Now, with the championship series for both squads, mine is the Chicago Cubs versus the Los Angeles Dodgers. What are your guys' series for the National League? I just want to make sure. I think yours was Mets and Nationals, right?
Yeah, mine was Mets and Nationals.
Mine's Cubs and Nationals.
And then what about yours, Steve?
I think it was Cubs and Dodgers.
All right, so, Steve, let's discuss ours first real quick. Because this is going to be an interesting series where both teams do have great pitchers. Both teams do have great hitting. The big thing is whose team will be able to get the most home runs, because the Cubs can definitely hit the ball pretty far. And the Dodgers having Arrieta versus Kershaw game 1 would be an epic pitching masterpiece. Mm-hmm. That would be such a great game to watch. It's going to come down to 7 games, I think. But I think this is one year that the Cubs have to be taken seriously. I think this is the year, though. I think that this is the year. They've been having such a great season. But give me the Chicago Cubs in 7 games. I think this is a time for them to really, really pull this one out. I think they will. I think they will not have a collapse. I think the Dodgers will collapse. But give me the Chicago Cubs to beat the Dodgers in 7 games. What do you guys say, Steve?
I agree with that. I mean, Kershaw and Arrieta would be very good. And, the Dodgers, they got so many, like, with the injuries, like with their pitchers, like McCarthy and even former Oriole Bud Norris, who even joined the rotation as well. And
he actually got designated for assignment.
Oh, tell me, son, I don't know. So Rich Hill comes along, another guy who the Orioles are interested in getting, but instead they didn't want to take their chances on him because they already had him in 2009. So with this series, my prediction is the Dodgers over the Cubs, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah. Going to come down to Game 7, I believe, and like I said, do it for Vin, because that's my thing. Win the World Series for Vin. That's my thing, but we're not near that yet, but we'll see.
So, James, who you got?
Well, I picked the Nationals and the Cubs, but I will say for Vin Scully's sake, it would be kind of nice to see the Dodgers make it farther in the playoffs as long as they don't beat the Orioles. But, I did pick the Nationals and Cubs, and I said it before and I'll say it again. I just don't see anybody in the National League stopping the Cubs. Not only are they the most talented team in the National League and maybe all of baseball, they're a young team too. which they could be a dynasty. So I don't think anybody in the National League can stop the Cubs. I think the Cubs are going to beat the Nationals, and but I'm going to give the Nationals some credit. I think they're going to win a couple games, but I think the series is going to go to the Cubs.
All right, Kyle, who you got for your?
I've got the Mets and the Nationals going on. Now this is probably going to be the biggest series. If the Cubs are out and the Mets are in, this is probably going to be the biggest series because the Nationals and the Mets. This is probably the biggest rivalry ever since last year. I mean, both teams have had their share of injuries. It's all going to come down to, I believe, 6 games. The Mets, in the very end of the season, have done very well against Washington, taking 2 out of 3 in the last series. There are huge holes that the Mets can take advantage of, such as relief pitching. You know, I would say to the Mets, keep fouling off the balls, keep the at-bats alive, raise the pitch counts, get them tired. Because that's probably one of the best ways to tire out a pitcher is if you have very long at-bats. And the power of Cespedes, Cabrera, even Jose Reyes, he's a leadoff guy. He's fast. He's got a great arm. He knows Citi Field well. He knows this organization well. But then when you go to Washington, if Murphy's well, he's going to do well against the Mets. He's had a hit in every single game this year against New York. Bryce Harper's done well against us. Anthony Rendon. With the loss of Wilson Ramos, that's a different story. It's going to be a different story, with Wilson Ramos being out, and same thing with Strasburg. So if it comes down to the chase for Game 1, it's going to be Scherzer and Syndergaard. And the Nationals do very well with stolen bases, and Syndergaard is very vulnerable to giving up stolen bases. So if you have a guy like Trey Turner stealing a shit ton of bases, then the running game is going to get out of control. But I believe that with the power of the Mets offense and what they've done recently against the Nationals, they're going to win in 6. The Mets will win in 6.
Wow. It's pretty crazy. All right, so American League Championship Series. My series is the Cleveland Indians versus the Texas Rangers. What are your guys' series? Just wanted to check up on it. I think yours was
Mine was the Red Sox and the Rangers.
Red Sox and Rangers. How about you, James? What was yours?
Orioles and Indians.
And then what was yours?
Same
Steve?
here.
All right, so I'm going to let you guys go first since you have the same matchup.
Steve. Ladies first, of course.
We will.
Uh-oh, look.
That's funny.
I'll get my revenge. So, okay. So, ALCS, Orioles and Indians, a battle of the birds and the so, whatever you want to say. All right. So I was surprised as well that the Indians did clinch for the American League Central, because I thought for sure it would be either the Royals again, as when we did our prediction video for the MLB season. I think I said Royals for the Central.
I think you did too.
Yeah,
I remember saying it was the Royals.
Yeah, and look how that went out. So this should be a good matchup. I say pretty much. I mean, if you put in the rotation, if you put Tillman, and then you have Gosman and Ubaldo and Bundy as well, but leave Gallardo out of the rotation because Gallardo was rough this year. I mean, he's already off the roster for tonight. Same thing with Gosman too. I mean, Gosman and Bundy are the 2 people you want in there. Ubaldo's a veteran, and Tillman is kind of around there too. But Tillman had an injured season, and Ubaldo had a rough season, but it turned around for him. So. And also give some playing time to the new guy, Boom Boom Mancini. The guy is on a tear and has been hitting like 3 home runs, which is amazing. And give him some playing time as well. Like maybe, I'm going to say this, maybe sit Chris Davis for a little bit because Davis has just been struggling. Like,
yeah, to me, I've seen Davis is either a home run hitter or a strikeout guy. He's like Vladimir Guerrero. He swings at everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Basically, home runs or
you're gone.
Yeah. So, and all that money you spend on Davis, and there you go. I think it was a little too much, but that was their choice. So anyway, for this series, I think it will be pretty good. And for my prediction in this, I'm going with the Orioles by winning the series. Out of 7, I'm saying like 3. No, not that much. Make it 4 games to 3. Make it like that. So 4 games to 3.
Okay,
James, who you got?
So yeah, so I got the Orioles and the Indians, and I'm gonna have to go with the Indians on this one. No, just kidding. Orioles.
James, you goddamn troll.
Happy Troll Day.
That is true. It is true.
So, now, I made my prediction that the Orioles are not going to lose a game in the playoffs. I don't know if a team's ever done that before. But the only way the Orioles will lose a game is if Gallardo pitches, because that guy can't pitch. Well, he used to be a good pitcher. He can't pitch anymore, though. I mean, he's having a terrible season.
Mm-hmm.
At least Ubaldo Jimenez, turned things around towards the end of the season and pitched some key games for us and did well. But I have to give the Orioles on this one. And as long as Gallardo doesn't pitch, the Orioles are going to cruise their way to a world championship. That's what my prediction is.
Kyle, who you got?
Whoa.
What happened to your eye?
I got an eye patch.
Oh, okay.
I picked the Boston Red Sox and the Texas Rangers to play in the ALCS. Now, this one will be interesting, seeing, Beltran, Lucroy, Desmond, Odor. Then you've got Pedroia, Betts, Bogarts, Ortiz. I mean, you've got epic matchup of big bats. I'm going to say this series will revolve around the bats. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in this series. Pitching-wise, I don't really care what's going to happen. Rick Porcello or David Price will start game 1 against either Cole Hamels or Yu Darvish. That's all I know. But I'm going to say the motivation that this is David Ortiz's final season in the big leagues would spark enough motivation to keep the Red Sox going hot and hot and hot. So I'm going to have to go ahead, and in 7 games, the series will belong to Boston.
And now it's my turn to make my prediction on this one. I got the Cleveland Indians and the Texas Rangers going at it in this series. This is going to be one very interesting series, to say the least. Both teams have not won the World Series. And I don't think Texas has won a World Series. I don't think Cleveland has won a World Series in a long time. So this will be very interesting to see who wants it more. Both teams will have very strong lineups. Both teams have very good pitching. This will come down to the last game of the series, because this will be one epic series to remember. But I got to go with my heart on this one. I got the Indians. I got the Indians advancing.
You got the engines.
I got the Indians. That's right. I got the Indians advancing to the World Series in 7 games. I think they will upset Texas at home. I think Texas will collapse. They will have a 3-2 series lead. And like against the Cardinals, they will blow it against the Cleveland Indians. The Indians win in 7 games. And that will set up the World Series match for everybody. Mine is the Chicago Cubs versus the Cleveland Indians.
Mine is a rematch of 1986. Apparently, I just realized it. Like right after I wrote and posted my prediction that this would be a rematch of 1986. Boston Red Sox at New York.
Wow. And the thing is, remember this. The American League has the home field advantage thanks to the All-Star game. Them winning the All-Star game, they have home field advantage.
Yep, that's true.
Mhm. Yep.
So for you, Charlotte would be in Boston with the home field advantage. For you, for Steve and James, they would be in Baltimore. And then for me, it would be in Cleveland.
Mhm.
So I'm going to let Kyle go first on this one. And then I will go next.
Boston, New York. This would be the matchup of the ages. 30 years, exactly 30 years after the Bill Buckner era.
Yep.
The
Hmm.
the Ray Knight scoring, "Here comes nine and the Mets win it." They're making commercials on MLB Network with Bill Buckner finally catching things and not Mookie Wilson. No, no, no. This will be the epic matchup that I've always wanted to see. This will once again go to the bats. Ortiz, Betts, Pedroia, Bogarts, but with the Mets, Cespedes, Reyes, Cabrera, TJ Rivera is doing very well, and I believe he'll be in the starting lineup at second base because TJ Rivera has shown that he can be a big leaguer. I mean, we don't need Dilson Herrera. We don't need him. We got TJ Rivera. I mean, good for him. If JJ the Jet Plane, I call Jay Bruce, stays hot, then he's going to fly some balls out of the stadium.
Oh.
But the Mets and the Red Sox are neck and neck pitching-wise. Porcello, David Price. You've only got from the fearsome five in the Mets rotation, only one of them. I'm going to say one of them because Colon is technically hurt. He has some sort of tear in his foot. But he's very strong, and he's pitching off it. He's shown that he can pitch off of it. It's only Syndergaard. Syndergaard's left, but you've got Seth Lugo. You've got Robert Gazelman. I don't know about maybe Rafael Montero or Gabriel Yanoa. Those two are very iffy. I would bow my head in shame if Logan Verrett would get a start. That would not be the wisest decision that Terry Collins has made. Terry Collins has made some very odd decisions, but somehow, in some way, it seems to go right. Now, series-wise, it's going to be an entire series. There will be 7 games. I have a feeling that the Mets would win the World Series in 7 with a walk-off.
Wow.
Wow. That'd be epic. Like having the Mets win in walk-off fashion in Fenway Park. That would be unreal.
That would be unreal because it is unreal.
Or could you imagine if the Red Sox lost again by a ground ball through the leg?
Oh my God.
If that were Pedroia,
Oh man!
then
Wow.
he'd be disgraced, just like Bill Buckner.
Imagine if they had David Ortiz out there at first base, and then
Drop.
yeah, imagine David Ortiz up there, and then the ball goes right between his legs. What a way to end his career!
That'd be insane to say the least.
That will be. It will be insane. I will say that. Mets win in 7.
I'm going to go with mine real quick before you guys go with yours, James and Steve. This matchup of the series features 2 teams have not won the World Series in a very long time. Cleveland was 1947, and the Chicago Cubs is 1908. This is going to feature 2 great pitching staffs, 2 great lineups. This is going to be one of the best series anyone can watch for. It's like the Cleveland Cavaliers and Golden State Warriors, but for baseball. Imagine that. But anyway, this is going to be one of the toughest series to predict, but I think seeing how this team has been so bad so long, how you've had so many chances. So both teams have had many chances to win a World Series. Both teams have had many chances to get there. Both teams have had many chances before, but only one team can win the World Series this year. And I gotta say it from both teams. I gotta say it from the heart. I think the Cubs are going to win the World Series this year. I just think the Cubs are a much better team than Cleveland. I think they have the audacity. I think they have the coaching. Both coaches managers are very strong. Both managers have experience. But I'm taking the Chicago Cubs in the World Series. I'm taking them in 6 games to close it. I'm taking them to win in Cleveland for the first time since 1908. It would be such a great thing to see. Finally, the Cubs win the World Series. I think it will happen, though. Just like the Golden State Warriors won against the Cleveland Cavaliers in Game 6 last time in the finals, not this year, but this last year, I think the Cubs will win in Cleveland. So, Chicago Cubs in 6. That is my World Series prediction. James and Steve, you guys go.
Steve, you want to go?
I don't care.
All right, I'll go then.
Okay, Echo.
Echo.
Yeah, I'm hearing my echo.
Echo.
Huh?
Echo.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah,
One
I
of
hear
those days.
1, 2, 3. Echo.
Lucas, I think it's you.
I have my headphones in.
Oh. Well,
Somebody
it's not me.
doesn't have headphones.
I have headphones. You have headphones. Do you have headphones, James?
Yeah, but why would I hear my own? I don't have headphones.
This is odd.
That is odd. Google Plus can be annoying sometimes.
Annoying.
well.
Annoying.
It's just imagine we're in a big stadium announcing all this to an
It's
audience.
time for baseball.
Goodbye.
Utah. Okay, well, my prediction is Cubs and Orioles in the World Series. Okay, and so I think it's really distracting. It's hard to talk with this thing going on.
Take off.
Oh well. Anyway, so I'll just mute this so I don't hear my own echo, and I'll try to talk through it. So if you guys are saying something, I won't be able to hear you. Okay. Anyway, so I think it's going to be the Orioles and the Cubs. Like I said, we're not going to lose a playoff game this season. That's saying something against the Cubs. But I think it's going to go down to the final pitch. I think it's going to go down to the bottom of the ninth against the Cubs. And I think the Cubs are going to have a 3-run lead. I think the bases are going to be loaded. And then Chris Davis is going to play, and he's going to do a walk-off grand slam. And the Orioles are going to be world champions for the first time since 1983. And the curse of the Cubs not going to be over yet, folks. But there's always next year. Okay, now I'm unmuting.
Steve, who you got?
Who do you got? Go. Mine, I believe, is Dodgers and Orioles. So, here we go. This would be a good series because the Orioles did face the Dodgers before the World Series, in which I think the Orioles were successful. Like 1966 or something, or whatever year that was. I'm not sure. And this would come down to, I think, Game 7. It's a tied series, 3-3. The starting pitchers I'm saying for that game would be Kevin Gausman and Clayton Kershaw. And it would be a really good game. Trumbo hit a home run to give them the go-ahead lead. Bottom of the seventh. It'd be like 7-5 or 7-6. And Britton comes on to the ninth inning. gets the save, and the Orioles become World Series champion. And there you go.
All right, I think that will do it for everybody here. We got our predictions, and I would like to thank everybody for joining us today and for the predictions, Major League Baseball predictions 2016 postseason. I'd like to thank everybody for coming in. Steve, Kyle, and James, thank you all for joining us. And say goodbyes before we sign off.
Baseball!
The baseball.
Baseball.
Fox boy, bucket it!
This podcast is very forced and contrived.
Oh, man.
No, you need to say baseball. That's Gary's voice.
Baseball!
I can't
Jaguar.
I can't stand the Vikings. I can't stand them.
The Viking bitch asses.
Everybody.
I got no patience for
Orange and blue crush.
This is getting really
Just
good.
to FYI, guys, I had a Hot Pocket while we were doing this, and I overcooked it so much that everything in the Hot Pocket came out of it, and then I had to just eat it. It didn't taste good.
Well, first of all, James, you're eating a Hot Pocket, so it's not going to taste good at all.
No, I got a Amy's Kitchen brand. It's an organic brand, so it's supposed to be higher quality and
Still, it's the Hot Pocket.
it's a Hot Pocket no matter what way you look.
Yeah, you're still going to get diarrhea.
It's an empty.
Diarrhea Pocket.
Oh, I love that.
All right.
Jim Gaffigan, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for everybody. Just going to head out of here. Thank you guys all for watching. We'll see you guys next time. See you later and stay awesome. Have a great night.